Hey YouTube, this is Mike, and I just wanted to share a short little snippet from this episode that I really enjoyed. However, if you want to listen to the full episode, either scroll down this post or head to mikejamesreid.com/podcast for the full episode. Thanks and enjoy. Vladimir Druts, welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Very, very happy to be here.
Yeah. Likewise, man. It's a real honor. I have really appreciated getting to know you in this short space of time living in Toronto. And when we first met at that Archangel event and got to hang out a few times, I've really appreciated how you look at the world, and so hence why I was really excited to get you on the show.
Thank you. Likewise, I feel like we're kindred spirits. I think there's like a deep mutual understanding, and I'm super happy to be here.
It's an interesting way to phrase it, mutual understanding as opposed to mutual interest. That's a nice little distinction. Thank you. So the first question I was going to ask for a bit of fun was, what's your favorite alcoholic drink?
It's an interesting question, seeing as I'm actually off alcohol for 6 months as kind of like a personal experiment, just to see what would happen with, my mental state, my body. Not that like I used to drink too much, but I'm just, going completely sober to test. But I think I'd say I would be between, Irish whiskey, Scotch, one of those most likely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So follow-on question. If we were to sit down with a bottle of nice 18-year-old Scotch and just sit there and talk, what do you think would come out?
Oh man, so much. I mean, I think we'd dive deep into kind of the meaning of life, the purpose of drive, the various intricacies of what it means to be human and the human condition, overcoming suffering, pushing yourself further, helping others, really kind of stepping into arete, which is like the best state of a thing that it can be. I think we'd talk about those types of things. Yeah.
I've never heard of that phrase. How do I say it? Arete?
Arete. Yeah. It's an ancient Greek concept, and it's essentially, kind of like the act of living up to one's full potential. So the arete of something is the highest quality state it can reach.
Oh, I've like, my hairs on the back of my neck have gone up. I love that.
Yeah, it's such an incredible concept.
Huh. And how did you come across that concept in the first place?
Well, actually, I've always loved Greek mythology, and I've really valued kind of Greek politics and the way that they saw duty. And there's some words in Greek that just don't translate very well because we don't have similar or analogous concepts for them. And arete is one of those things. And I actually came across it while doing research for my brand new FRWRD skincare. It's largely based on this concept of self-actualization. And through my research, I came across this concept of arete, and I just absolutely fell in love with it because it spoke to kind of what I've been trying to do my whole life and what I feel like is, kind of the important essence for a human being to pursue.
And with that concept in mind, how do you measure whether you feel you're living up to that phrase?
Well, it's a really interesting question. I think for the Greeks, they would have probably said that it's not up to you to measure, and it's up to the people around you, the people in your city, your police, to say whether you've led that type of life, whether you have achieved arete or not. But I think we also live in a very different world. And to me, it's kind of like that feeling in your gut. It's kind of like, that thing that is between the lines of your thoughts. It is something that I believe you inherently know, whether you are truly doing your best or whether you are cowering, whether any component or part of you is hiding in the shadows and not pushing yourself forward to truly do what, inside you even hope in the least that you are capable of. And that's in regards to business, relationships with other people, self-care, everything.
What have you found to be maybe the most useful tools or practices or even just experiences you've had in your life that have really called you forth to to that state?
It's another great question. I think, for me, there's certainly been a lot of tools that I have come into touch with and learned about that have been extraordinarily helpful for that. But I think the biggest thing for me has always been kind of the motivation of, helping others. And if I can help myself and learn something through that process, then I can help others. And if what I have learned and tried on myself also works with others, then I know that I am much closer to that, type of arete.
Amazing. That's super, super cool. It makes me think about Stoic philosophy. And I think, obviously, I'm assuming they're in a similar family. When you say the Greeks, are you saying it comes from Stoicism or?
Well, I don't think it comes necessarily from Stoicism, but I think that kind of Stoic thought is very analogous because, it also is about kind of being your best self in the moment. I think arete is just one of those kind of ancient Greek general concepts that, certainly the best of the Greeks, the politicians, the people who were really pushing themselves, kind of carried around with them as a sort of emblem, let's say, for their life.
How much do you feel, Vlad, that these ideas, these ancient ideas, that how much do you feel like the world we live in today is allowing them to resurface, or is maybe pushing them, further and further out of our reach? Does that make sense?
Oh man, that is a dichotomy right there, because I think, in some sense, both of those things are true and they're both happening. And they are somewhat mutually exclusive. So yeah, I mean, let's just say the internet, right? Everything comes down to that, access to information for me. So without the internet and access to information, would I have been able to quickly, kind of learn about the concept of arete? I don't know. Probably would be a lot harder. And there's just so much pop culture noise and junk that we're all, kind of getting bombarded with every single day. It's so much harder to focus. It's so much harder to find space within our life, that space that's so necessary to determine whether you're even moving in a direction that you want to be moving into. I think we kind of just default into behavior, default into life choices so much of the time, whether in business or in our personal life. And so it's certainly harder. The access to information is there, but I think using that information, making quality choices is probably a lot harder. And that has to do with all of the noise. I think in the ancient world, the space that they used to have to reflect, the amount that they would push themselves physically, which also quiets the mind, I think gave them a better opportunity to kind of embody those types of concepts than we can today.